Pan-dimensional pleasantries. I'm their lower half Cypher, and is there anything more fun than a villain duo? Well, yes, there's lots, but that's not what this channel is all about. What I'm all about is sometimes doing more esoteric update themes, and this month we're looking at some gruesome twosomes. Bad bots who usually show up alongside each other, and it feels kinda weird when they don't. Let's start with a personal fave pairing, the Battle Chargers Runabout and Runamuck. They didn't show up much in the original cartoon or comics, but they had an incredibly memorable issue of the US comic focused heavily on them. And a decade later, the online fandom would look back at these two, especially Runamuck's penchant for punctuating everything with heh, and think... a portrayal which has broadly stuck with them since. The pair would pop up again and again over the years in various toy lines, but frustratingly, they were usually sold extra separately, as is the case with their Takara Tomy Adventure incarnations. Released in Takara's version of the 2015 Robots in Disguise toy line, both are redecos of Combiner Wars Blackjack, which had originally been designed as Runabout in the first place, changed for reasons unknown. Runabout, remember, B for black, was a normal retail release, but Runamuck, remember, M for was only available in a mail-away 2-pack with Autobot Dogfight, with the order form inside the Transformers Generations 2015 guidebook, which was, of course, a little extra difficult for Battle Chargers fans outside of Japan. And as Blackjack redecos, you can add them to your Combiner Wars Menasor as chest armor. Make your own breathy chuckling jokes about said placement in the comments or something. Villain pairs are often a pair of losers, but lovable losers. Usually, Darkwing and Dreadwind kind of push the boundaries of lovable. Dreadwind is an almost comically depressed downer in endless mope mode, and while Darkwing is also never not sullen, he intends to make that everyone else's problem, usually with violence. For the longest time, their only modern toys were sold thunderously separately, with Dreadwind being a convention exclusive. But the Power of the Primes toy line brought them together again at regular retail, ready to suck all the air out of any room you put them in. Heavy retoolings of the Combiner Wars Deluxe Aerobots Air Raid and Skydive, respectively, Blackwing, name change for trademark reasons, and Dreadwind have also been designed to merge together to form the Dreadwing jet, just as their original toys could. And of course, you can use them as arms and legs to any compatible Combiner combination. Personally, I like using them as legs, with Armada Thrust and Fractal as arms attached to Cyclonus to make an all-jet combiner. Having them be the legs feels like something they'd hate, which is only appropriate. Sometimes a pairing is less about the fiction and more about the original toys themselves, such as the case with Generation 2's Dreadwing and Smokescreen. Fiction-wise, the most they had for decades were some pack-in mini-comics from the Takara G2 line, but the original toy is, bluntly, and has been reused many times because it's just that good. And thus there's homages to him as well. And one of those homages got turned into new forms for Dreadwing and Smokescreen as a Tokyo Toy Show 2010 exclusive set. This pairing is a redeco of the Revenge of the Fallen Mindwipe and Skystalker toys, who were sold separately but designed to be used together, with the larger stealth bomber carrying the smaller stealth drone. They even have the proper Generation 2 faction symbols, always nice when they remember that. While these two may be low on personality, they still make up for it with pure Big Lummox and Little Weasel is an ever-popular goon pairing we oddly don't see too often in Transformers. But we got a great one of these with Ransack and Crumple, a pair of delightfully dim-witted ne'er-do-wells from the Cybertronian colony world Velocitron who got roped into Megatron's quest for universal domination. And as I do, I've pulled out an obscure set of releases for these two. They're Tactics game pieces. This short-lived action game first released in 2005 with Star Wars characters, but soon included Transformers and Marvel in the mix. Move your pieces the appropriate number of ticks, and try and knock over your opponent's figures. The Ransack and Crumple Zone pieces are also tied together in the game rules. If your Ransack is knocked over, he has a chance to be placed back upright if you have Crumple Zone in play. In case you were wondering about Ransack's shiny base there, every Blind Pack Booster Pack Tactics piece had a roughly 1 in 8 chance of coming with a chromed silver base instead of the standard black. Despite the rarity, there's no difference in their point values or anything. Crumple Zone came in a window box set, so he doesn't have a silver variant. And somehow I never got a black base Ransack. And then, sometimes, a pairing doesn't really coalesce into a pairing until pretty late in the game, as with, ironically enough, one of the first duos you'd think would have been a duo, Rumble and Frenzy. With Frenzy only barely appearing in the original cartoon, and neither doing a whole lot in the original US comic, the two never really got fictionally portrayed as a major twosome until like late run IDW. Even toy-wise, you'd get one of them and then maybe you'd get the other one later, but Takara would pair them up a bit more often as toys, as they did in the Prime toy line. These two are redecos and alternate head retoolings of the Hasbro Prime Rumble, done up in more Generation 1E color schemes. They also each came with an arms micron. In fact, they came with the same arms micron. Doggo, an octopus bot who becomes a pile driver cannon like the one that came with Hasbro Rumble. The only difference between them is in the color of their customer-applied stickers, making them Doggo F and Doggo R. Said sticker sheets also include optional half Soundwave decals for you to add to Rumble and Frenzy's car roofs if you want to try and line them up to join in a weird, impractical shared shield. And yeah, Takara pretty solidly follows Frenzy as blue, Rumble as red. With any luck, future new Transformers series will give us some more fun, gruesome twosomes. So who are your favorites and what are their best toys? Pile yours on in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, double team this video with a like and subscribe, and double down on it by bonging that bell. You can also help me do more picks a month by joining my Patreon. Thanks for watching, and check back for more Transformers toy picks in the future.